Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Host Connections halftime report from the Centre Bank studio in an undisclosed location here in Northwest Indiana. We can't reveal too many details. Michael Brenner here along with the man, Doug Ashenbaugh. Doug, we're in week 5, my man. Yeah. I mean, when you think about the season, you get 9 weeks of a regular season, and then everyone's pretty much guaranteed a postseason play. So you got 10 weeks of football guaranteed for the vast majority of teams. After tonight, we're going to be halfway through that season. It's crazy to think how fast this season has flown, but we've seen a lot of really good football around Northwest Indiana these first 5 weeks.
It's gone by, really fast. You say week 5 already. Obviously, we're in the heart of, conference play, too, as well. Games are starting to get tougher. It's starting to get colder and darker. That's when
it's football weather.
It's football weather, exactly. It just feels more like football, too, as well. And, halfway through the season, it's cruising right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've got a lot of really great games going on here tonight. We've got quite a few good ones on our air tonight, but we're going to start with the number 17 team in our RSN Top 10 poll this week. You got Boone Grove taking on Wheeler in the GSSC. We have an update on that one.
Yeah, we sure do. And right now, it's Wheeler Bearcats 14-7. In the third. They were up 14-0 at half. Now, obviously, in the third quarter came out. Boone Grove made some adjustments at halftime. They came out with an early score. But right now, number 7 Boone Grove, 3-1 on the year, is down to Wheeler. That's 1-3 on the year. Maybe a little bit of a shocker from what we thought. 14-7 right now. Wheeler's holding on strong.
Yeah, you're thinking number 7 in the RSN poll. You're 3-1 on the season, feeling maybe not. You're going to cruise through the conference play, but at the same time, maybe you got a good chance of coming out of that conference with a title, and all of a sudden the Wheeler Bearcats are saying something a little bit different. Let's move on down the line. We don't have an update last check between Bowman and Lake Station, so if you have that score, go ahead and provide that for us if you have it. And then we got Calumet taking on the Morton Governors, a battle of 1-3 teams. So I'm gonna make a prediction here. Somebody's going to get their second victory of the season.
You're absolutely right about that. And I'm going to make another one. It's probably going to be Morton Governors. Right now, they're all over Calumet Warriors, 40-0 at half. Morton is starting to find their stride. The offense is starting to come alive. Defense is obviously playing very well, especially, a lot of athleticism over there with Calumet Warriors. And, it's pretty good offense to shut out and have a goose egg right now at halftime. Morton is starting to come back around.
We talked about conference play. This is the GSSC versus the GLC. So non-conference matchup for both teams. And I was doing a little bit of digging, and I could be completely wrong. I could have missed one over the course of the years, but this is the first regular season meeting between these two teams since 2002. So it's been a little while since these two teams have matched up, and they're not too far from each other. So kind of interesting that it's taken that long for these two teams to get back together on the gridiron. Moving over into the DAC, you got the number 1 Crown Point Bulldogs. We know they're all over the Portage Indians right now. We have that on our air here on the Region Sports Network. I happened to be over at Portage for just a hot second a little bit earlier tonight, and it happened to be the moment where Crown Point got that fumble recovery for the touchdown. So I saw a little bit of good action there from the Crown Point Bulldogs right off the bat.
Yeah, and honestly, Portage really jumped off the start. There's a lot to talk about in that. Very first 2 kickoff returns were fumbles for Crown Point. Portage obviously scored on 1, but then Crown Point defense came out that very next one. Portage started on their own 10-yard line, and Crown Point defense came out and stopped them. So it almost looked like, hey, we had an upset brewing over there with the burial grounds. But nonetheless, then it kind of it flipped. Crown Point really came on strong, and it started with their run game. And that was key. Last week I was at Lake Central versus Crown Point, and it wasn't so much that run game. Lake Central did a great job. And it was a lot of their passing game, and now they found that run game again this week. And as you said, they kind of just jumped all over. We're 35-6, heading into the half. And one thing to notice, too, as well, is that Crown Point offense did not touch the ball, I believe, until about 5.5 minutes in the first quarter.
Okay.
All right?
That sounds
At the end of the first quarter, it was 21-6, Crown Point. So in that 5.5 minutes, we had a fumble recovery by Will Clark that turned it back. And then we obviously had Ehrlich to Velasquez, the tight end over there. He had a 36 reception touchdown. And then we also had the fumble recovery. And then we had Gibbs on a 14-yard touchdown reception, too, as well. But that Crown Point offense had come alive. They were a little shocked in the beginning, and, man, they blew up.
If there's a way to kind of stabilize Crown Point a little bit, because you and I both saw them last week. I mean, it was a matter of that offense could almost score at will. The defense makes things totally challenging for any team. It almost feels like if you are the opposing team, you really do have to go out there, punch them in the mouth right off the bat to kind of just put them on their heels a little bit and go, whoa, hold on, wait a minute. Especially when you're a team, the Portage Indians coming in 0-4. That's the last thing Crown Point would likely expect, is getting punched in the mouth on a return. So.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. I mean, Portage definitely came out, and they were ready. Unfortunately, they kind of fell off a little bit. But, they had an interception, too, as well, here in the second quarter, late in the second quarter, too, as well. So, they're not giving up just yet, as a Roy Richards team would never do. But the defense, though, as much as what it is, it's a lot of big plays coming from Crown Point. But Roy Richards loves running a defense where he's going to be blitzing. He's going to send the house at you. He's going to give you a lot of different looks. And those big plays sometimes tend to happen, which you flip it over and you got Ehrlich leading the way. Big plays happen a lot.
Absolutely. We're going to talk about one more game before we take a quick timeout. Look at number 6, Hammond Central, taking on the Pioneer Panthers. Hammond Central 4-0 on the year, number 6 in our RSN poll. Do we have a game update on that one?
We do, and again, we have I guess you could say, an upset brewing. We know the Pioneer Panther program, and it's a very good program.
3-1 on the season.
They're up right now 20-12 at half over Hammond. I think they started the third quarter here finally, but that was our last update that we had. But, Hammond Central, very explosive offense. Right, they've been scoring a lot of points, a lot of rushing game, that they have. And Pioneer right now is playing some very solid defense, only giving up 12 points to that offense.
Can you give me that score again one more time?
It was 20-12.
So Hammond Central averages about 32 points a game, and they are giving up 8. So, I mean, that's coming into tonight. So this is going to be a little bit of a lopsided affair at the moment in time. But that's what, if you are a Hammond team, you want to play teams like this. Because if you have aspirations of really moving on, you want to play teams that might be able to potentially beat you. Like, you want to play tough, even if you come away with a loss. Here's the thing. Regular season losses don't really matter. I mean, unless you're trying to really get the conference title, then that matters more. But you want to be playing your best football going forward. And obviously, if they get punched in the mouth right now, not the worst thing in the world. It's a wake-up call, if anything.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you like those games. Exactly what you're talking about is your team is rolling. They're 4-0. You're going to go play a good ball club, and, hey, if you do come up with a loss or a win, or it's a fight and you come out with a win, whatever it is, you want that competitive game. You want to let your team know, hey, I know we've been rolling, but we still got to keep getting better.
In my opinion, watching these the last number of years, weeks 4, 5, and 6 might be the most crucial weeks of the season, in my opinion, just because those weeks tell me what my ball club is. If I'm a coach, I find out where my team is at, what we're good at. 7, 8, 9, you're just trying to get a good rhythm, keep guys healthy, so that way when you go into that Week 10 matchup in the postseason, whatever it may be, you're good to go. You know what you have going into that.
Absolutely correct. I mean, weeks 1 through 3, you're kind of finding your identity, right? You're making a lot of adjustments. You're watching a lot of film. What can you come out with? 4, 5, 6, like you're talking about. That playbook opens up a little bit more. You find out who's kind of rising to the top for your offense, your defense, and whatnot. But you're absolutely right. The middle of the season is so crucial to find out who you are as a team. I mean, and it's most exciting football to watch, too, as well, honestly. I mean, playoffs is nice. Don't get me wrong. I love watching playoffs. But that middle of the season, there's something special about it. You're absolutely right,
I couldn't agree more. All right, we're going to step aside for just a moment. We are here at the Centennial Bank Studio. This is the Host Connections Halftime Report on the Region Sports Network, built by Von Tobel, the only game in town.
Update your kitchen or bathroom with Von Tobel. Get 20% off select cabinets now through October 28th. Von Tobel has cabinets and vanities in a range of styles and colors, plus built-in storage, countertops, and flooring. Our designers will help you find the perfect selections for your style and budget. Scan to visit VonTobels.com today to book your free consultation at one of our 4 Indiana showrooms. Von Tobel, building better together.
If you work with industrial, pneumatics, or hydraulics, and you're in need of maintenance or repair, you need the right connection. For over 20 years, Hose Connections in Hammond has been the premier leader in the hydraulics industry. Hose Connections is a one-stop shop for sales and service of pneumatics and hydraulics. Hose Connections continues to grow their network of industry contacts, which allows them to meet even your toughest expectations. To learn more, visit HoseConnectionsInc.com. Hose Connections in Hammond. Proven under pressure.
When life takes you places and you can't get to the store, shop online with Strack and Van Til To Go. Our to-go service is easy to use and it can save you time and money. Once your order is in, our own Strack and Van Til team preps your order with care. For delivery or pickup, enjoy the convenience of letting our to-go team shop for you. Enjoy your special moments. Sign up online today at shop.strackandvantil.com.
Hi, I'm Crowell Company's Lantern Man. I'll cover your motorcycle. I'll be with you on the water. I'll be with you on the snow. I'll cover your insurance needs wherever you go. I'll be at Crowell Agency from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. As Crowell Company's Lantern Man, I'm your insurance superhero.
Crowell Companies, the insurance professionals in Highland, Maryville, and Michigan City.
From schools to stadiums, hospitals, and bridges, everywhere you look, union carpenters are building Indiana. With jobs and skilled trades in high demand, there's never been a better time to start building your future. As an apprentice, you'll earn a debt-free college degree, earn while you learn, and receive great benefits like healthcare and retirement. So what are you waiting for? Visit carpenters.com to learn more. Visit carpenters.com and start building your future today.
Have you checked out Centier Bank's student checking account? This no-fee checking account is perfect for students and teens ages 14 to 24 and comes with all the features you need to succeed, such as a debit card, digital banking, and automatic deposit. Centier Bank can help you start establishing good spending habits today for your better tomorrow. For more information, visit Centier.com/student-checking or visit your local branch. If you are under the age of 18, your parent or guardian must also sign on the Centier student checking account. At the age of 25, your account will automatically convert to the Centier checking account. You must deposit $25 to open this account. This account is not eligible for overdraft advantage. Member FDIC.
Welcome back into the Hose Connections halftime report. Hose Connections is proven under pressure.
There it is.
Here at the Centier Bank studio, Michael Brenner here along with Doug Ashenbaugh. Doug, we're going to go keep rolling through the scores here for the halftime scores that are already kind of leaning into the third quarter, and then that's okay. So let's take a look. Let's go into the NCC now with the Highland Trojans taking on the Lowell Red Devils.
Yeah, and, Lowell's been struggling. Obviously, we know. They play a tough schedule in the very beginning. Highland's got a lot of talent, too, as well, and has been playing well. But right now, Lowell is all over Highland. The last update we had going into half was 21-0 over there at the Inferno. So we talk about this every year, though, with Lowell. The first 4 weeks, they come off, you're like, hey, what's going on with Lowell? And when you play them after week 4 through the playoffs, they are something to reckon with. And it looks like Lowell is turning that page again this season. They kind of, like you talked about, Michael, there was, you're seeing what's going on those first couple weeks. And then when you hit, the middle, you kind of find out what your team is about. Who is your team? What is it that you can run? What is your identity? And Lowell does that year after year, and right now they're showing that coming out strong.
I'm looking back at their schedule from last year. It was loss, win, loss, win, loss, and then in week 6 rattling off 5 wins in a row. So, that's kind of how Lowell's going to do it. It's a slow, methodical pace here. And again, like early in the season, you're finding out your team, as you said, and it's kind of like their run games. Yeah. It takes time to develop it, and then eventually it's going to run wild. Yeah. And maybe week 5 might not be the week either. Might turn into week 6. We'll see. Lowell did win that game against Highland 21-14 last year, so it's 21-0 right now in favor of the Lowell Red Devils at the last update that we had. So, I mean, you never know when things can turn around. It's that RDP has some magic to it for sure
does.
over in Lowell.
Mid-season RDP is where it's at.
And I've and I have a little connection to the middle school level as well. I know their middle school team is pretty darn good as well. They just played an overtime game over in St. John this past Wednesday. So maybe there's some up-and-coming players that might make this little RDP chant a little bit more emphatic here in the next few years.
Yeah, and I got the ties with Pop Warner as well. So
That's
true.
Saying,
we got a bunch of good kids down over in the Pop Warner League. So RDP is gonna be strong for quite some time.
We're branching our horizons here at the Region Sports Network. We're seeing what the minor league level is bringing up here to the high school level. All right, we got a top 10 showdown over at 5959 Broadway, and that's another NCC matchup, and that is between the Hobart Brickies and the Andrean 59ers. 3-1 on the season for the Brickies, 2-2 on the season for the 59ers, and at last update, the Brickies were on top.
Yeah, they were. They were up 14-10, but going into half, Andrean was up 10-7. A little bit of an upset, right? Obviously got 10 versus number 5. Hobart's been playing very well. A lot of, high hopes with Hobart and the Hobart faithful over there, Brickie faithfuls over there. That Andrean kind of stuck it to him a little bit at first. 0-0 was a real tough quarter in the first quarter. 10-7 that was going to have. The big thing, is Valentine over there. His feet, the movement, the way he's able to move the pocket, get out of pressure, and taking it for 10, 15, 20 yards. He's playing very, very well, and he's kept an Andrean 59ers in the game right now. But, like you said, coming out of the third quarter here, Hobart jumped up on real quick on Andrean 14-10.
Yeah, I had this game last year, and it was the Drake Bowen show, as most people would expect, and that's not what the 59ers have this year. No. But they're still trying to find their way, and they're still going to try to make a case in the NCC here in 2023. Moving on down the line, staying in that NCC conference, we are going to go with the number 3 Hanover Central Wildcats. New to the conference this year, taking on the KV Cougars.
Yeah, like you said, new to the conference this year, and they're looking like they're making their way on to being 5-0. At half they were up 28-0. So they jumped on them early on KV. And again, you talk about that Hanover Central team, though. They got it on both sides of the ball. Their offense is electric. Their defense plays extremely well. They give up very few points. But Hanover just right from the rip has just jumped all over them. And last update we had was 28-0 at half.
And I talk about one Bowen. There's another Bowen on that Hanover Central team, and his Drake's younger brother Dylan on that team over there as well. Can play quarterback, can play defense as well. A really, really good, one of the top baseball players in the area as well. Moving on down the line, we're going to join the DAC right now. You got number 9 Lake Central taking on the LaPorte Slicers. Lake Central won this one 21-7. These are the weeks we saw Lake Central last week. These are the weeks where, as I said, you're going to find out what team you are. The problem for Lake Central is we didn't really find out. It was a win-lose type of season for Lake Central last year, and you're kind of thinking, based on the first 4 weeks of the season, that might be them again. What's going to propel them to get to that spot where maybe they actually have a winning record, because they're hungry for it over in St. John?
Yeah, they sure are, and I don't know, was Xavier playing tonight?
I don't, off the top of my head, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. We'll have to check in on that, but I know that's a big blow. Last week it was a big blow for them too as well in their run game that they were looking at, and we got an upset brewing over there. Currently right now, LaPorte was the last one that we had is up 10-7 at half against Lake Central, and I know they're coming off a tough loss last week versus Crown Point. It's tough to kind of get back on your high after you have a tough loss like that against a very good team, but Lake Central, like you said, they're trying to find that identity. It looked like it was going to be that run game off the bat. Xavier got hurt. Unfortunately, he was out last week. Not sure if he's playing this week or not. We'll take a peek. But, they're trying to find that identity too as well. But LaPorte playing some good football tonight. I mean, anytime it's a DAC game, it's always a good game.
And when you get to play at home, that makes a factor as well. C.J. Peters letting us know that Lake Central running back and Iowa commit Xavier Williams not in action tonight. So he is not playing for, and that kind of, in a lot of ways, is a difference maker for Lake Central, just because that's a huge part of the run game. We saw Chase Kwiatkowski last week being able to pick up that run game and really put everything on his back. But Lake Central is going to have to go through those motions and figure out. You got Kwiatkowski, who's a junior, this is only going to help him get ready for senior season. He knows what to be expected out of these DAC matches.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And you know, last week we saw some success with Lake Central passing game too as well. And you know, and maybe they're trying to build up off that, not having Xavier in too as well, trying to find that out. So if you find that out kind of mid-season, you got to let that pass game kind of develop too as well.
For sure. Yeah, so Lake Central 2-2 on the year, LaPorte 1-3. Might be a good year for LaPorte. We'll find out here in this matchup a little bit later on in the evening. Staying in the DAC, you got the Maryville Pirates taking on the Michigan City Wolves. That's a top 10 matchup. You got Maryville at number 4, Michigan City at number 8. Maryville had that one loss in the season to the Crown Point Bulldogs, but still a really, really good team in the region. But it's weird to see them out of the top 3 in the region.
Yes, it really is. Even out of the top 2.
Yeah,
honestly. And again, you know, we talk about DAC. We talk about when those games are always good. Only the last update we had at half, going in half, Maryville is only up 3-0 right now against Michigan City. Now, Michigan City is a very good ball club, too, as well.
Oh, yeah.
You know, when you talk about the Maryville Pirates, though, you know, the first couple games they started out, and you're like, you know, this offense is electric. Who's going to stop them? And, you know, they hit that bump in the road versus Crown Point. Maybe still having a little bit of hangover, it seems like, against that. But, nonetheless, is that Michigan City, the defense is what's really showing up right now. I mean, to limit that high-power offense that they have over in Maryville with the running game, the attack game, or pass game too as well, and only holding Maryville to 3 in the first half. I think that may be a first all season. Even I think they scored more against Crown Point in the first half.
Maryville didn't score against Crown Point until the last 5
That's
seconds of that game.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Right now, well, either way, that Michigan City defense to hold them to 3. They're playing lights out right now, and they're putting themselves in the ball game.
Again, playing at home, that has a factor.
It does.
And we have a non-conference matchup between Munster and East Chicago. Did we have a score update on that?
We did not get an update over there yet.
Okay. Well, we're going to take a quick timeout then. We'll come back. We'll run through the rest of the scores and then recap all those scores again with what we've got so far. So if you've got scores, please put them in the comments so we can read those and we can update and give you a little bit of shout out here on the air. But you're tuned into the Host Connections halftime report from the Centeer Bank Studio on the Region Sports Network, built by Von Tobel, the only game in town.
With electrical services from Economy Electric Heating and Cooling, you can radiate the perfect amount of light and energy into your home. From rewiring and code upgrades to ceiling fans, lighting, security, and more, Economy Electric Heating and Cooling's trained electricians will make sure you can enjoy your home on full power all the time. For a free estimate on electrical work, call Economy Electric Heating and Cooling at 219-923-4441, and you can visit them on the web at 4ajobdoneright.com. That's the number 4ajobdoneright.com.
Develop skills that will last for a lifetime with an apprenticeship with the Bricklayers and Allied Craft Workers Local 4, Indiana, Kentucky. The apprenticeship and training program is committed to developing highly skilled bricklayers, terrazzo workers, and ceramic tile setters to provide the construction industry with the best hands in the business. If you are currently working non-union and want better pay with benefits, or if you think learning a new skill with a paid apprenticeship while you earn your associate's degree is the right path for you, visit baclocal4.org/training to learn more about the apprenticeship program. Are you built to succeed?
For over 100 years, Burns Funeral Home and Crematory has been assisting families in their time of need. Serving Northwest Indiana, the staff at Burns Funeral Home will help guide your family in creating a meaningful ceremony. From a simple to elaborate, to traditional or unique, the caring family at Burns Funeral Home will tailor a ceremony to fit your needs. And for your other loved ones, Burns Funeral now has a pet cemetery and crematory. Visit burnsfuneral.com or give them a call at 219-942-1117.
Blythe's Team Sports in Valparaiso is a leader in athletics apparel and equipment sales. With in-house production including screen printing, trophies, embroidery, and more, Blythe's can help you to create the perfect look. For more information, visit them online at teamblythes.com. Blythe's Team Sports in Valparaiso, where the athletes shop.
Centrally located in downtown Indianapolis, the Hampton Inn is just steps away from Bankers Life Fieldhouse. Situated at 105 South Meridian Street, shopping, restaurants, entertainment, and many Indianapolis attractions are in near proximity. Hampton Inn has much to offer, including a hot breakfast, high-speed internet access in every room, as well as a gym fitness center. For reservations, the number is 317-261-1200. The website is hamptonin3.hilton.com. Hampton Inn, Indianapolis, downtown.
Welcome back to the Host Connections halftime report from the Centier Bank Studios here on the Region Sports Network. Michael Brenner here along with Doug Ashenbaugh. Not only is Host Connections proven under pressure, we're proven under pressure as
right.
well. I just want to get that part.
You just like doing that part.
Hey, everyone's got to have like their thing. If that's my
that's
thing,
your thing.
that's okay. That's fine. I accept that. All right, a couple more scores to bring you here. We're on the. It doesn't matter what page we're on. Let's go back to the GSSC. You got River Forest, who this team was so much fun to watch last year, and they're still fun to watch this year. Not to take any credit away. 3-1 on the year, taking on the Griffith Panthers 1-3. Griffith won this one last year. It was a late season game, 28-20 last year. And are we going to see a repeat, do you think?
It's very well possible. My Griffith Panthers right now, man, are up 14-7. And again, finding that identity, right?
Yep.
Obviously, you got Mason over there, very first year. Not many seniors, right? You're finding out them underclassmen who can play. And I can tell you right now, 1-3 for Griffith is doesn't truly show what that team really is.
Absolutely.
I can definitely say that. And River Forest is playing extremely well, 3-1, and scoring a lot of points too as well. So you talk about the Griffith Panther defense right now. They're playing very well. But yeah, that last update we had in the third, Griffith was up by a score there, 14-7.
All right, moving on down the line. You got South Central taking on Bishop Knoll. Bishop Knoll got the win last year, 35-12, and that may be incorrect because I have 0 wins last year. Beat South Bend Clay this week 1 season, so I may have put that on the wrong spot there. So I'm going to go with South Central won that one against Bishop Knoll, 35-12 last year. But I'll double check just to make sure I'm correct. But Bishop Knoll getting that first win of the season in week 1, trying to get win number 2. And those guys told me before the year started they were going to have like 7,000 touchdowns, so they got a long way to go.
Well, tonight, right now, South Central, they jumped all over Bishop Knoll from the very beginning. And currently, right now, that last update that we had in the third, South Central was up 44-14. So looks like, possibly South Central is going to be the one getting that second win on the season. But again, Bishop Knoll and that program is turning around. Those kids are playing hard. They're getting more numbers that are coming out too as well, playing on that team. And it's got a bright future for Bishop Knoll, which is great to see.
Absolutely,
I mean, it's absolutely great to see, especially seeing the numbers coming out for that team and a lot more kids over there playing for them.
100%.
So.
Yeah, it was fun to watch. It was fun to talk to them in the preseason pigskin party that we had earlier this year. There was an air of confidence about them. They had no problem telling me they wanted to score 7,000 touchdowns. It's a lofty goal. I think that would definitely break an Indiana record. But
that would.
Hey, and then they came out and got a win week 1. So just keep building that confidence over there.
Absolutely.
Now moving on to the DAC, you've got number 2 Valparaiso, the defending state champions in Class 5A, taking on the Chesterton Trojans. And we've got that for you right here on the Region Sports Network as well. So how's that one looking?
Yeah, so Chesterton's defense is playing extremely, extremely well right now, and they're putting a lot of pressure on Clark over there for the Valpo Vikings. At half, when we were going into half, the last update that we had, number 2 Valpo was only up 14-0. But again, you talk about the DAC and how tough those games are. Like you keep saying too as well, Chesterton's at home. Valpo had to travel over to Chester. They got the home fans over there. And off that broadcast, you can hear how loud those fans are. For the Chesterton Trojans too as well. So, I mean, a tight ball game. Chesterton hasn't scored yet. They had a couple drives where it looked like they were, but the Valpo defense stepped up and was able to get off of the field. But that last update we had a very close game of 14-0. And I can imagine right now Chesterton's still probably bringing those blitz packages and putting a lot of pressure on Clark over there for Valpo.
And we were talking last week on our broadcast about the kind of the tiers in the DAC. And Chesterton this year may have been one of those teams where if you were to kind of look at where they're at going into week 5, they may have been the lower of the middle tier, maybe higher of that lower tier. So they want to definitely put little wrench in all those systems for the rest of those top teams.
Absolutely, you're exactly right. And that's what they're trying to do in this game, like you're
yeah.
talking about, is really trying to make a statement. I mean, even if you come up short, 14-7, 14-0, playing defense against Valpo Vikings like that, I mean, that offense for Valpo, obviously we know that, and their rushing game too as well is electric. So that is a statement if you can come up and keep this a very close game.
100%. All right, another score that we don't have any information on. West Central taking on North Newton out of the Midwest Conference. So if you have that, we'd love to have that. And then we've got a game on Saturday between the Whiting Oilers and the West Side Cougars. Crown Point looks like they are up now 49-6. All Bulldogs there in that one over the Portage Indians. And, Doug, we do have a final to tell you about, and that's over with the Pioneer Panthers taking on the Hammond Centrals. Big thanks to Barry Tyler Jr. for the updates. Pioneer gets that win 26-12. So Hammond Central, obviously their first loss of the year, but when you think about it, that may be a wake-up call kind of, or not even a wake-up call, but just to tell your players in case their heads or their ego, because they're high school kids, everyone gets this. This isn't exclusive to any one team. Keep them down or keep them level.
Yeah.
You know, maybe a game like this. Remember, playing a good team, good competition. What you may see if you have, deep aspirations of going on far into the tournament, you're going to see better and better teams as you go along. You know what to expect now.
You're absolutely right. I mean, from when I've coached and when I've played, truthfully, I've always said, I don't think I want to go undefeated.
Right.
I don't want that tough, loss or a tough game that gives you a little bit of a gut check.
Yeah.
Because now I guarantee you Hammond Central in this week of practice are going to go harder. They're going to want to learn. They're going to, break down film. Things like that. It just makes them hungrier. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what you want, obviously, from your team. You play good competition. You come up with a tough loss. I'm excited to see how they come out next week after having that.
It'll be fun. All right, that's going to wrap things up here for the Hose Connections halftime report from the Centier Bank studio. Stay tuned a little bit later. We will have the Region Football wrap-up show for you at the conclusion of our games. So make sure you go back to tuning into the games. Stop looking at us. Go watch the games. It's more fun that way. But thanks for tuning in to us from the Centier Bank studio. This is